Good morning, everyone. Let's see how this mic in this place works here. You might get a little over modulation, so I think I'll turn that down a little bit. Let me know if it's okay. All right, I know I should be able to monitor this myself, but I am a one-man show here. I believe the chat is on, and I know it's Wednesday. I don't normally do this on Wednesday, but something has happened, as you can tell by the title of this, that I predicted a long time ago, and apparently it's now getting to the point where it's fairly serious, so we're going to talk about that. Like I said, today is the 24th of April 2019. I'm Roy Potter. Welcome to the Potter Expositor. Welcome as you come in. It looks like nobody was ready for this. Sounds good. I can hear you much. Great. Okay. All right. So it looks like it's going to be okay. I'm out. I don't usually go to buffets, but after last night, I had that upload where I was in the Suds. It's a bar and grill here in Evanston, and I told you I don't like to cook because I poison people. I've done it to myself, and I did it to one of my daughters. Anyway, I eat out quite a bit, and normally I don't go to buffets. But this is a nice one. It's been here in Evanston for a long time. It's part of a hotel. It's pretty nice. So I thought, what the heck, I'll have a buffet this morning and do this from here. So at any rate, that's kind of my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, so let me get right to the point here. A couple of things that we need to talk about, I think. The first one being that you may know, there was some information that came out yesterday. Apparently, they have now found some of Hillary Clinton's emails actually I guess it was on a White House server. I'm not really sure. Or in the White House. I'm not really sure of the details. But the reason why I bring this up is because, as Joe DeGeneva has been saying, there's an all-out attempt now by the good guys, the really good guys, to search this information out and get it exposed. And so, again, with Joe DeGeneva being so adamant about what Bill Barr's up to, and and DeGeneva's anger at the media for calling Barr names, calling him a traitor and a liar and a cover-up artist and all this stuff. I don't think DeGeneva would be talking off the top of his head. He's much too professional for that. When he gets angry, he has a reason for it. And so, as everybody's been saying, all of this information is coming out, and that's not new news for you, I know that. But it gives us hope that really something is going to happen here down the line, and I certainly hope so. Okay, the main topic. I could talk about a lot of things. I could talk about Al-Qaeda, ISIS, claiming responsibility for the Sri Lanka attacks. No surprise there. A lot of people should be putting egg on their face today, but of course they won't. They won't admit that they were covering for these people. And I want to talk about along those same lines. And I won't mention any names, but Alex Jones had a guest on the other day who he's had on quite a bit over the years. And I want to make it clear that I don't dislike or hate Muslims at all. And like that gentleman said, who has been in the Army and was in intelligence and some other things, and is Muslim, not all Muslims go along with this. The problem is, and this is what they don't talk about, and he did the same thing, that is called for in the Quran, and it's not a matter of interpretation. It's called for in the Hadith. Conquering, expanding, and under threat of death if they don't convert. That's what it is, and I'm sorry, it's there. It's unlike anything else anywhere. And I said that he tried to bring up a passage in Exodus, but that was an entirely different situation. That wasn't to force people to convert. That was taking over land and other things, absolutely, in Exodus, absolutely. But it had nothing to do with forcing people to convert. And it had a lot to do with actually some of the actions against those people in those areas at the time for what they were doing to, having human sacrifice, killing women and children. A lot of the kids couldn't grow up in a clean environment there. It was impossible. I wasn't saying that it's like Sodom and Gomorrah in Canaan at the time, but very similar. It was headed that way, and we're certainly there today. And as I said, I think all of this is a punishment for us not ordering our lives accordingly. I mean, everybody's going to have little black spots and dark areas, little sins, big sins, whatever. But when a society as a whole institutionalizes this type of debauchery and this debasement, then we're ripe for these types of things that are happening. I'm not saying that I excuse the people that commit these acts, these acts of terror and invading our country and all that. No, I don't do that any more than God, like the Assyrians, for instance, when he used them to come after the northern 10 tribes. I'm not saying that, because he's just using bad people to try to discipline people that have known the light and then turn their back to it, onto the dark. But the point is that no, unless the Muslims as a people call this out, that it's wrong, and they're going to and I know nobody wants to reform Holy Writ. I know that they're Holy Writ, but frankly, this is going to have to happen if we're going to be able to accept these people. They can be peaceful, but if you look at the Quran, jihad is the end result, inevitably. So I wanted to clear that up. No, I don't want to have violence against them, like innocent, people praying in a mosque, for instance, no different than people praying in those churches in Sri Lanka. But we also cannot allow them to institute their laws and they can have their customs, but they can't force it into this country. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, if you know anything about them, that's where it'll be. That's what happens. That's the end result. That's the end game. We got to wake up to that. Now, again, yes, the powers that be are using our different systems, which they have promulgated, to divide us, and we forget about that the other side are human beings. But it's like I said the other day, about 2 weeks ago. If your dad did something really bad, robbed a bank, killed somebody or whatever, but you had invaders coming into your home invaders, you're not going to let them just come in because your dad did something wrong. You're going to defend your family regardless, all right? And that's the same thing here. We've done horrible things around the world. We helped the Five Eyes, particularly Britain, and NATO. Well, NATO came into being sometime later, but to do what's been done horribly to the Middle East, and I recognize that. And we need to hold our leaders accountable, and I think they're attempting to do that. Like Trump is attempting to. I'm not saying he's doing the best job. Okay, I'm not saying that for a lot of reasons, but I don't want to get hooked on that today. I just wanted to clear that up. That I don't care what Muslims believe, but as I said a long time ago, their ideology ends where my nose begins and yours, and so. This war of jihad to convert the world or kill it off for Allah we can't stand for it. I'm sorry, even if the powers that be have set this thing in motion, we can't do it. Hopefully one of these days, I see that, as I said yesterday, that a militia leader has been accused of planning, along with members of their unit, with their group, which I really highly doubt, were planning to assassinate Soros and Clinton and some other Democratic leaders. I find that absolutely absurd. But for the crimes that they have committed, and there's no doubt that they have, they need to be punished. They need to be arrested, tried, convicted, and if found guilty, sentenced to prison or hung. And I would prefer the latter myself. But I understand the frustration of people who see these elites getting away with this, and the FBI should be ashamed of themselves if they've blown this out of proportion or used this guy as an infiltrator into a group of LEOs and intelligence people just trying to make a difference. Let's see if we're still up and running. Yeah, we are. I see a few problems going on with the internet. Thank you so much. I always love it when they bring me coffee, and they do it all the time. Thank you. You might find this jumping around a little bit, and I apologize for that. Anyway, I hope I've made myself clear on that. I don't care what you believe, but if you think that it's your right to destroy somebody else's life because they need to agree with you on your religion, you need to go away, one way or the other. Okay? Either easy or hard. This is going to be a problem in the future. And the elites that have caused all this, who are responsible for dividing humanity, yeah, they need to be held accountable too. Absolutely cast into outer darkness. Okay, let's move on to this situation. And like I say, we're going to have some problems with the transmission. Let's move on to the topic of the day. Let me play something. I'm sure you all already know this. You know how I feel about Headlines with a Voice. I did not have a chance to upload this morning to show it on there, so I'm going to just play it for you here. Okay, so here we go.
With tomorrow's news today, this is Headlines with a Voice.
President Donald Trump, in response to the recent incident at our southern border, where U.S. National Guard troops were disarmed on United States soil by Mexican troops, posted a tweet minutes ago stating that the United States is deploying armed soldiers to the border and warned, better not happen again. For Headlines with a
Okay. That's the appropriate response, ladies and gentlemen. Now, why did I want to go here this morning? I'm going to refer you back to that documentary that I made in 2011 called Borders, Mexican Drug War or Insurgency. It's a long one. It's an hour and a half. But I think it's the most comprehensive study of the border that's been made by anybody. I really do. I really believe that. All the others, they do little snippets. They look for the sensational stuff or whatever. I covered it in depth. And you're getting in that documentary an estimate of a situation by a trained soldier who was trained in insurgencies, in how to counter insurgencies, in terrorism, in counterterrorism, and of course a law enforcement officer, a lot of things, all right? You remember the reason why I talked about Pancho Villa and General Pershing was because the last time the Mexicans came into the United States, if you remember, was in, I think it was called Columbus, New Mexico. Pancho Villa brought his soldiers, his revolutionaries across the border, raided the town of Columbus, New Mexico, and they actually killed some Americans. The answer by the president was swift. He sent General Pershing into Mexico. Okay? We're seeing that today. Now, why is this happening? If you go back and you look at my Borders, Mexican Drug War, or Insurgency, let's concentrate on Insurgency, you'll understand what happened here. The drug war has been a method of insurgency done by the United States corrupt institutions, the IC and the DEA, corporations, pharmaceutical companies, all that. And if you don't understand that, go look at the Guatemalan thing with the United Fruit Company under Eisenhower's presidency. Fast and Furious, all of that was to arm the drug cartels, which are fronts for an insurgency in Mexico. Run by whom? Run by the United States. It's been that way for a long time. Why? So that they could do what they're doing today. Destabilize Mexico, get insurgents. If they're drug cartels, leaders, that's fine. But it doesn't matter if they're communists or drug cartels or whatever. They're taking over the government for spurious and criminal purposes, which they've done. They even influenced the president of Mexico. Okay, that's how serious this is. And likely, there are payoffs to people like Nancy Pelosi on the American side. I don't have proof of that, but their close associations are to be questioned. I'm sure Trump must know this. He's got to know it. So that's the reason why I wanted to cover this morning. We're seeing a replay of what happened in, I think it was 1903. I think that's when it was. I don't remember the exact date. You can look it up. Pancho Villa and General Pershing fighting. Now, I want to emphasize that this is an insurgency in Mexico, and the end game is to destabilize Mexico, which it has successfully done, and then to encroach upon the borders of the United States of America, and then use the destabilization in Mexico and in Central America and South America too, but primarily in Mexico, to then come across the border. Remember, Pancho Villa sent his troops across the border into Columbus, New Mexico. These troops that came across from the Mexican side, there's no way they did not know they were on American soil. They crossed the Rio Grande. As I explained yesterday, the river border of the Rio Grande can shift a little bit due to things, but not as far in as they came. There's no way. The fence is put up like sometimes almost a mile, a half a mile to a mile inside the United States because of reasons of the EPA and, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo and other silliness. But there are a lot of Mexicans that think that basically what we've done is ceded that half mile to a mile where the fence is inside the United States back to Mexico. A lot of them believe that, and they're pushing it, especially, guess who? The drug cartels. There are holes in the fence down there. I show them in my video where the fence just stops, where there are big gates, where you could drive an M1 Abrams tank through, or maybe even two of them at once. This has been an ongoing problem. This is all deliberate. So what we're seeing now, I think Trump's got this right, and I think Headlines with the Voice has it right. She had another article that she put up just before that, talking about that this could very well be because the Mexican army is infiltrated with the drug cartels, who are, again, whom? The insurgency planned by corrupt parts of the U.S. government. Eric Holder, again, I'm going to point that at Eric Holder and Obama with the Fast and Furious thing. You can't tell me Obama didn't know what he was doing there or didn't know about it. All of these things are obvious for people to see. I called Fast and Furious when I was down there on the border and saw what was going on in 2011. So, we have a serious problem here. Mexico is not our friend, and it hasn't been for a long time. I'm talking about the government. The people have been suppressed, they've been murdered, they've been stolen from, they've been crushed. Yeah, there might be more billionaires and millionaires in Mexico than a lot of other countries, but guess why? You have people like Nancy Pelosi helping them to do that. They're friends, they're cronies. There's some hardworking people there that have made it, I'm sure. But you don't get anywhere in Mexico unless you pay the piper. And anybody that's traveled to Mexico knows about that. So I wanted to bring that up this morning. This is a serious situation. We can't pretend like it isn't what it obviously is. These are probes. They are probes of our defenses and of our resolve. And President Trump is making the right decision to send armed troops on the border. It should have happened a long time ago. A long time ago. Okay, I don't want to belabor the point this morning because this is not really a scheduled, but I will go to chat. I wanted to explain the history on that and let you know that it's a replay of that same situation back then. I think it was Teddy Roosevelt that was the president. I can't remember for sure. I remember the military parts of it, of course, General Pershing and Pancho Villa and the fights that they had. It might take, if there is any place that the United States should invade for its security, it's Mexico. I'm just telling you straight up, folks. If there's any place with what the Mexican government has allowed with this and the U.S. government, the corrupt U.S. government, we need to clean our house first. I'm not saying we shouldn't. We need to go after people like Holder. We need to go after the leaders of the ATF and the DEA that have set this thing up. The IC, all those people, Brennan, all of them were involved in it. Not just this coup of the president. We need to clean our house first, and I've said that from the beginning. We need to clean our house first, but we can't forget to defend our home from the invaders that are trying to get in here. Okay? Like I say, I apologize for this thing going back and forth. It's just one of those things, though, so I apologize. All right. So it's the right thing to do. If there's any place that we need to do after we clean up, and we might have to do it concomitant to invade Mexico, concomitant, in other words, at the same time as we're trying to clean up our own government, because it's that serious. This invasion is not simply because of the dumb things the United States has done in central Mexico and Central America and South America to destabilize countries and stuff like that. This is, again, our elites causing this. which is why I say we have to go clean house first. Okay? All right, that's my estimate of the situation. Please go see my documentary if you haven't. Again, it's on this channel. It's called Borders, Mexican Drug War, or Insurgency. And I basically tell you that the only way to control the border is to bring the military. And I said that in 2011. Because we have an insurgency down there. That's what it is. An insurgency and an invasion. Vietnam War is an example. Vietnam. Why did President Nixon authorize, without Congress's approval I might add, but it happened anyway, to go into Laos and Cambodia? Because people were coming from Laos and Cambodia into Vietnam to fight American troops. Now, Vietnam was wrong, absolutely 100% on America's part. But the principle was that we were getting attacked from Laos and Cambodia. It's the same thing happening in Mexico to us. Okay, we need to take care of that. It's Pancho Villa and General Pershing all over again. All right. Let me see. I'm not going to hold my breath. No, I understand Dozer Bull, and I understand. The whole purpose of everything that's happening in the world is to take down the United States of America and Russia. And you notice how they pitted Russia and the U.S. against each other. We'd be the closest allies on the planet if they'd stop playing this game and the American people would wake up. Yeah, tinfoil hat. I did not see Alex bullhorning the White House over this thing with him meeting with Jack Dorsey of Twitter. But, good old Alex, he's always out on the front lines. And I know Alex has some problems, but you know what? He's been around a long time, and despite what everybody wants to say about him, it's like President Trump having to use Israel to try to shore up an ally that'll help protect him. Sometimes you got to do things like that. Doesn't mean Alex is bad. Not at all. Yeah, they have infiltrated by migration into every Western country. This is all. By peace they shall destroy many. Isn't that what Jesus said? I've told you that scripture in the New Testament which says that Jesus says, and by peace they shall destroy many. Islam means peace, or submission. That's another term. I think Jesus was foretelling this takeover by these basically unchristian forces that the elites would use. Yeah, absolutely. And they would do it without the sword, because they tried it with the sword in the medieval times. That's what the Crusades answered, and that's what Muslims have done everywhere. It's a deal in Sri Lanka, the bombings there, the bombings in Indonesia, etc., other places. So they're trying another tactic, and that is sneak in, lie. Right? Lie. Not admit to what you're really up to. Pretend like you're coming in to assimilate when you have no intention to do so. And then when you reach a certain percentage, then you strike. And that's exactly what we've seen throughout Europe and everywhere else, and now it's happening here. And it's going to get bad if we don't take action. I agree. Okay. Pictures are hung, people are hanged. All right, I take your point, Bryce. All right, yeah, they need to be hanged. Okay, okay. All right, I'll go along with that. Viet Cong 5, we're not a free people. That this, of course, troubles me and has for a long time. The whole imposition of the 5G and the nanotech and the panopticon. People are calling on Trump to slow down this 5G thing. I don't think he'll do it. I don't know if he has the big picture, and this is one of those things that troubles me about him. That and his failure to really respond to the encroachments on the First Amendment, and certainly on the Second and the Fourth. Troubling. Yeah, they have their commie groups like La Raza and Mecha. Yeah, in place. Yeah, they do, and it's a problem. And there are weapons stashes, and the FBI is doing absolutely nothing against the Islamist strongholds where they're stockpiling this stuff. That's why this thing on the border with going after this, and he may have been an informant, as I said, but regardless, it's to get the American people to stand down. The FBI is evil, absolutely evil. We should be seeing droves of Islamist extremists. No, I'm going to call it what it is: Islamist terrorists, because that's what their religion calls for. Despite what even the guest on Alex Jones said yesterday, that's what they do. They take over countries. They come in. That's exactly what's happened, and it's a problem. And The FBI doesn't do anything to them, but calls out Americans to try to stand up and places informants to poison their position when they're standing for the United States. Yeah, absolutely. The feds should be rounding up all of these places. Absolutely. And it's not doing the Japanese internment camps of World War II. No, this is an entirely different situation. Anybody that tries to equate us going after these anti-American, anti-constitutional, subversive, insurgent groups and try to equate it to the Japanese internment, they're lying to you. No, it needs to be done just like President Trump's been after MS-13. It's the same exact thing. You call for the takedown of the Constitution of the United States and the United States government, and you need to be taken out. I don't care who you are. And certainly that would go for La Raza, would go for, Islam, calling for Sharia law, all those things. Absolutely. Yeah, the Mexican government is a drug cartel, but more importantly, remember, it's an insurgent government placed in there by elites in the United States who are trying to destabilize it. You got to remember that connection. That's why the drug war came about. It wasn't to try to fix the drug problem in the United States. We want to blame it on drug users. No, that's just the pinprick to get the whole thing going. No pun intended. Okay. I know. I know. Trump vacillates on this thing with letting people in. I know that, and I don't know what to say about it. Like I say, I pray for him, and then I see him doing these crazy things. And there's always somebody, and I won't mention names, but there's always somebody who's saying, "Oh, look how smart he is. He's gonna figure out how to do this, and he's gonna fool him." Well, in the meantime, we've got tens of thousands of people pouring in, and they don't have our best interests at heart. Okay, let's see. Hi, Luisa Chavez. How you doing? I'll call you out because I saw you there. Oh, yeah, California equals northern Mexico. Oh, it goes a lot further than that. It goes up to Utah and certain parts of Oregon, all of Texas, all of New Mexico, all of Arizona, portions of Colorado. It's Aztlan, I think they call it. Hey, no. They lost it in 1847, 48. Is that the right time period? Mexican War. And they lost it again when Pershing went in after Pancho Villa. Sorry, no, it's not theirs. No, not anymore. Yeah, I think Mexico's Vietcong fire. I agree with you. I think Mexico's a bigger problem than Venezuela. I absolutely 100%. The oil's the difference, of course. That's the big difference. And of course, Bolton and his asinine foreign policy. That guy. Trump might like him, but anybody with a half grain of intelligence, and sometimes I wonder about Trump, most people with a half grain of intelligence know not to trust that asshole, and that's exactly what he is. Now, Orville Dam's a problem, Stack Stevenson, and see, that's another thing. And Trump's talked about our infrastructure. It needs to be corrected, but we're still in Afghanistan. We're still spending money in Afghanistan and Iraq. We're still apparently we're still confronting people in Syria, particularly the Iranians. I told you how to solve that. It won't be done that way. When I was in Command General Staff College, there was and I think I've talked about this before. There was an exercise that we were doing in Southeast Asia and that area, and everybody wanted. Of course, what the Army wanted to do in the training exercise is to put together an armed force, military forces to strike back and to take control. And I looked at it and I said, wait a minute, there's another diplomatic solution here. We should do this. We should encourage the president to do this. And this is an exercise, okay? And I'm not going to give you all the particulars. I was almost drummed out of the Command General Staff College because of that. They don't want people thinking outside the box for peace. It's all about blood, bullets, promotions, money. It disgusted me. When the Desert Storm started, because we were at the Command and General Staff College, we didn't go, okay? They wanted us to finish our training. There were only a couple out of the whole school that were taken because they had specialties that they absolutely had to have out there. Most everybody didn't go. And you know what? I'm going to tell you straight up, almost all the officers that couldn't go over there and kill the enemy were upset that they couldn't go over there and go to war. Not thinking about, hey, what about our troops? Are they going to get hurt? What about innocent people? Are they going to get hurt? All they thought about was going to war and getting their next promotion in a battlefield. You don't think I've been dealing with this for years, seeing what's really all going on? That disgusted me too. I was very upset to see that. Yeah, the FBI uses InfraGard and others along with the CIA. Like I say, it's all the same thing. And they are everywhere. There are too many of them. It needs to be hacked down to a fraction of the size it's at now and be only concerned with crimes conducted by federal employees in the federal government. This entire thing needs to go away. Outlaw Morgan, when are you going to come on my show and get wrecked? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I doubt that I ever will. I don't even know who you are. Sorry. I'm not going to go look either. Yeah, you can't blanket all Jews as bad any more than I just said. You can't blanket all Muslims as bad. But in both situations, Louise, as you know, if people won't call out wrongdoing by their own people, then there's a problem. Fortunately, we see a lot of Jews talking about how poorly the Palestinians are being abused. So there are good people out there, and you very rarely see that on the Islamic side. Hey, let's see who else we got here. Yeah, Michael Powell, I know how many thousands of bombs were dropped on innocent life abroad, and of course, collateral damage. Oh, that's just too bad, right? Yeah, unless it's your own. Our own is always more important than somebody else, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. I do. Yeah, the Lord said those that call themselves Jews and are not. And if you have my book, Louisa, you'll know what that meant. There were Herodians who were Edomite Jews who had taken over the Jewish state of that time. So that's what he's actually talking about. And that, of course, comes down to today, too. But in his time, it was primarily those who were Herodian. I heard Nurse Patriot, the Patriot Nurse, I forget exactly which way she goes. She has a YouTube channel, and she does really good stuff. I'm not putting her down, but she said that Herod was a Hasmonean, and she was incorrect on that. Herod was not a Hasmonean, which were the Maccabees, which were the group of Judites who defeated the Seleucid Greeks and seized the land back from the Greeks. They were part of Alexander the Great's army. Okay, the Ptolemies took over Egypt. The Seleucids took over basically Palestine and Syria in that area. And this is back 150 BC. Okay, 140 BC. So she called Herod a Hasmonean, and he was not. He was a Herodian. That's where his name comes from, which is Edomite Arab. It was a minor mistake on her part, but the Hasmoneans would have been, and the Herodians would not be getting together very well. So just a little piece of history there that's important. Okay, well, I've been going for 35 minutes, and like I said, this was Spiral Bear, thank you. Yeah, I'm not here to make money. I don't make a cent off of YouTube. Thanks for bringing that up, because I know, again, as I've explained, I don't know how many times. Thanks, Louise, I see you understand. The ads that you see on my channel are not paying me. They're for the work that Pam Jones did in creating my intros. The people that have the music on those and the graphics, they get a chunk of that money, however it works. I don't even know how it works. Pam Jones called me the other day and said, no, I don't get paid, Roy. I didn't do that. So she's not even getting paid from that. So it's all going to the people that created the graphics there that she used and the music that she used. I don't get a cent from this. Nobody pays me for what I do. Nobody. That's just an accusation that people make when they're trying to defame you. Okay? Even if I were making money, what would be wrong with that? When the laborer is worthy of his hire. I should take money. I should. But I knew that it would be an accusation that I could prove was false. That there would be those who would make these false accusations, like whoever that asshole was. I know the person that told me about it. I'm not talking about you, but I know there are those on there that say that's why I do this. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. And they are assholes that accuse you falsely. People that accuse you falsely, they're assholes, they're demons, they're satanic. Literally, by definition, they're satanic. The accuser of the brethren. No, I didn't get hungover First Planet. No, I didn't have that much. I had one beer. I really don't drink that much. I just enjoy the atmosphere, the rustic atmosphere, especially in the West. If you go to these old bars and saloons and restaurants that are, renovated to some extent, they're just interesting places. Some of the places are real, like in South Dakota. You can go where Wild Bill Hickok got shot. There in Deadwood. They're just interesting. Think about that. It's kind of like antiques. So that's why I do it. And there are always interesting people there. So I go for that reason. And of course, microbrewery, you're getting local talent, local product, and so I try to patronize those. Okay, Spiral Bear, Outlaw is cool and all, but he's here to make money probably. Well, that's all right. If Outlaw has a great show, yeah, go watch him, folks. I don't have a problem with that. It's like I promote everybody. I've promoted even the big names: Dan Bongino, Lee Stranahan, of course, Headlines with a Voice, H.A. Goodman, a lot of folks. Because they all give us information that we need. I'm not jealous. I'm not biased. And anybody that sees me doing this, like today, I showed Headlines with a Voice. I didn't have time to upload it on the program so you could see it without my telephone. But no, these people work hard, and their information is important. Actually, more important than what I do. So that's why I include them. Yeah, the evil witch Hillary had the nerve to comment yesterday. Yeah, I know. She needs to be taken down. Trump is going to have a problem there. He's going to have the courage to do it. He and Barr. I don't know if they'll go that far, but she does. She is the number one most wicked woman outside the Queen of England in the entire world. Yep. Actually, I think she's worse than the Queen of England. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go. Thank you for coming. Thank you. I went through... Give me thoughts on Q, please. Well, I see that now they've got Patriot Soapbox has a... Let's see. Somebody sent that to me this morning. Let me look at this. It's a money-making thing. And unfortunately, with all the hard work that people have done to try to show how bad Q is, it's still going on. Let me get this up here so I can see who it is that sent it to me. And it looks like it was Roosevelt. Big League Politics. Thank you, Roosevelt. Big League Politics is now going to be on Patriot Soapbox as a guest. You know what? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I have been watching Monograph Red Rider. Matter of fact, he and I exchanged some information the other day. He's showing a lot of things about the contacts, all that stuff about Sandy Hook, the people that have attacked him, the origins of Q. And Monograph doesn't BS you. He can prove everything he does. He like I said, I think he was actually the very first guy. Maybe it's a neck and neck race between Unirock and Monograph, but Monograph had all the technical data about that, and he was saying that it was a woman that was doing it. Most likely Hillary Clinton, or at least people working for Clinton. And he said that in November of 17, right after Q came out. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I'm going to let you go. I really want to finish eating breakfast, too. And like I say, this is jumping around a little bit, and I so much apologize for that, but it's just one of those things. hopefully we got some information out this morning that was important. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your ears to the ground. Prep, pray, and stay out of the way, but don't be afraid to defend yourselves, okay? This is getting serious. There are not too many people we can trust. Get some like-minded people around you and get your supplies together and have a plan, okay? That's important. We're in a lot of trouble. Hopefully this can get turned around, but you know, we all are, any of us who are really paying attention, we are concerned about Trump's real motives, of course. But remember, this is a fight for power amongst the elites. That's really what it is. So Trump's not going to be 100% along what we want. I'm mostly concerned about the First, Second, and Fourth Amendments, because those should be inviolate, as I've talked about, and people like Swalwell who say that they're going to take, you know, this right or that right away from, especially our Second Amendment or our weapons. That needs to be a definition of a criminal who took an oath of office to support, defend the Constitution of the United States, and then turns on it and says he wants to eradicate one of the Bill of Rights or infringe upon it. He should be arrested for that. I think there should be a new statute that says you do that and you get arrested for calling for the destruction, the overthrow of the U.S. government. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. No, I think I need to let you go, and I'm going to eat. So God bless you. God bless yours. God bless the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America and the Second American Revolution, and may God bless President Donald Trump and all of his righteous endeavors. That the Spirit of the Lord may descend upon him as the dews from heaven. Show him the spirit of discernment, that he will know the right from the wrong and have the courage, most of all, to do the right thing. Okay. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, out here.